patrol.
Standing by your side, with my heart on high drive. I'll do what it takes to make you believe. With my heart on high drive. We do what we want, but we're not free. With our hearts on
High patrol.
Welcome back. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Ronnie, and this is the Funker News Network from our brand new studio. This is technically not the end state for the Funker News Network, though. This is still my just normal streaming desk. I gave you a quick sneak peek for those that were here at the very beginning of what the new studio is, at least its current state. We can take another look at that in a little bit. But before we get into the footage today, I got to talk a little bit about our sponsor and partner, Hardhead Veterans. Hardhead Veterans is ATE Gen 2 is my go-to. It's my personal helmet. This is not something that, of course, was issued to me, but it loads better than the ACH that I was issued. I've got the micro lattice inside. I've got my contacts on there, and we're starting to actually see lots of footage coming out of the environment of Hardhead Veterans helmets in Ukraine. So there's a code that you guys can use. The code's Funker530. And all you got to do is run that over on hardheadveterans.com. Get some money off your helmet. Welcome back. Slap on the like button. How we doing? I swear to God, Ronnie, if your shorts are long the mid-thigh today, I'm so out of here. I don't know. Let's take a look. What do you think? Huh? What do you think? Is that good? Hit the like button. Welcome back. We're going to kind of jump right in here. What's the button? There's the button. We're going to kind of jump right in here. We're going to be focusing really heavily on the east. I'm going to kill the music. We're going to focus heavily on the east today. Severodonetsk. We're going to look at some stuff from Luhansk Oblast. We're going to look at some footage from Kharkiv in the north. But the biggest question that's on a lot of folks' mind right now is what's going on in Severodonetsk and whether or not it has officially fallen. And I'll give you my personal answer right out of the gate. And once again, this is really just me looking at what's available to me. I'm not on the ground. I can't tell you what's happening outside of what's being reported. I can tell you that there's probably still quite a few small pockets of resistance in and around Severodonetsk. But Russia continues to make advances, both in that Popasna salient that we've been talking about quite a bit, as well as, you know, Severodonetsk. There have been quite a few advances taking place in the north, up near Kharkiv. We will do a little bit of interactive map look today. Obviously, it's just a look. I'm not an expert. We're learning and we're watching together. But let's jump into the footage here. How are we doing? New studio looks great, just like the shorts. Thanks, Swab. I'll buy that for $1. Welcome in, guys. Nico Maya, how are you? All right, let's jump in. So the very first piece of footage I wanted to look at here was actually an interesting one for us. This is Russian perspective footage of, reportedly, the Spetsnaz in close contact, essentially breaking contact. You know, we see them essentially get engaged and then have to break contact, come off target. And it's some really interesting footage because a lot of times when we're looking at something Russian perspective, it seems kind of disorganized, or it seems like it's finished, final edited footage. So this is coming up for you on the full screen here in just a minute. Slap on the like button while you wait. Here you go. Full screen for you now. Maybe not. Stand by.
Да, отходим, Барс, отходим, Барс! Черный!
He says he's reloading. Obviously.
Готов! Барс, отходи, отходи, отходи!
So these are Russian troops breaking contact.
Держу, держу.
Bounding back from whatever Ukrainians it is that they ran into. And this footage specifically is near Severodonetsk.
Пошел, Барс, Барс! Барс! Держу! Отходим, пацаны! Отход! Да!
All right. So, again, that was reportedly near Severodonetsk, and again, we call it at face value. The way it was reported was that was Spetsnaz. Something to note about that is the kits that we see there are in stark contrast to the Russian kits that we've seen in a lot of footage with, you know, your conscripts, even your standard line infantry Russians. We had footage down in Kherson. I want to say it was like a closed circuit television footage. Really run-of-the-mill AK-74s with the 6B type armor get-up that your standard Russian infantryman has. We saw high-cut helmets here. We saw cans. We saw you know, PEC lasers. This is a well-equipped Russian unit, whichever it actually is, which would be an indicator of you know, potentially Spetsnaz, something along those lines. The next one we're actually going to watch, reportedly, again, a Russian perspective, Russian paratroopers engaged in a firefight in Donetsk Oblast. Again, sticking around in the east right now, that is where the heaviest of Russia's offensive is taking place at the moment. And, you know, once again, we don't see anything on the other side of this, but I mean, we're not going to... You typically wouldn't ask your combat cameraman to make sure that he gets the enemy in the footage as well. So this is coming up for you full screen in just a second. Boring Russian propaganda, a little bit, but this is we can hear return fire in that one and in this one. A lot of the Chechen stuff. Don't worry, I got something for you. A lot of the Chechen stuff, we don't hear any return fire. You know, we obviously can't see anything, which is not outside the bounds of what's normal. But this footage is coming up for you full screen.
Помогай! Раз, два, на помощь, Сокола! Вперед! Пулемет, ты где? Не видно никого, зеленый бан. Вон того. Прямо.
Welcome in, guys. Happy Tuesday. Hit on the like button, please, and thank you. Just don't offend it. Now, some of these overlays, guys, just a heads up, might be a little jacked up, so I'll have to adjust and fix on the fly. Let's check this one. Yeah, so there's one that's jacked up. Stand by. We're working through it together. Just the two of us. All right, going back full screen for you. All right. So based on the front of that rifle there, that looks to me to be like a Val VSS, one of those series of weapons. I don't know. What do you guys think about with what's going on here with the weapon? That is known to be a weapon that SOF would use, your VDV, your paratrooper types. Your Spetsnaz type of folks, they're going to be running those like Zentico kitted up AKs and such. VSS, yeah. AS Val, VSS. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next piece of footage that we got here. We're sticking around in the east, though. We've got Ukrainian perspective footage here of Ukrainians holding defensive position inside a building in Severodonetsk. Are there people that seriously still think that Ukraine is winning? I don't. I think there are probably a myriad of folks that hope Ukraine continues to defend their sovereign nation, but I don't think anybody is, quote, winning. I think that would be ridiculous to say that. All right, coming up for you. Let's see if this one's all jacked up. It is. All right, excellent. We can just, keep fixing all of these. We're in a new stream room today, guys, so some of my overlays might be a little messed up. Let's get rolling here. We have a lot of footage of Russian helicopters being shot down, Corey. Check funker530.com and just do a search for helicopter. No, you are, Ken. Let's turn this down a little bit. So, again, reportedly, this is somewhere in Severodonetsk. Don't have a whole lot of other information outside of that. These are Ukrainians in some form of a defensive position. That's what we've been talking about most heavily so far, is the potential that Severodonetsk is either falling or will fall, which, of course, is a part of that far eastern salient. Matter of fact, let's take a look at that really quick. So for those that haven't been tracking the situation in the east, let's take a look at that salient. We're actually going to use a brand new map. You guys will recognize the color scheme. This is from the Institute for the Study of War. I'm a big fan of the Institute for the Study of War, and they have a new interactive map that they just launched. I'm going to give you guys a link to it here in the chat. Alan, we'll be covering that one in just a little bit. So, Severodonetsk up here. I was going to use UA war data. The problem with UA war data is it's using live UA map, which is a few days delayed. I still use UA war data because it helps me understand where, units are deployed. If I want to know where the 79th is, for instance, I can come to UA war data and see that, they're right here. If I want to know where the 111th is. It's not searchable, but you make it work. But the Institute for the Study of War, I lost my train of thought there. Institute for the Study of War updates their map regularly on the daily, no matter what. I like their color scheme. It helps you understand. So what we're looking at here is Severodonetsk. Anything that is yellow is Russian reported, but that the Institute for the Study of War was not able to validate. So Russia has reported that they have taken this small area here as well as here, but ISW wasn't able to validate. Anything blue, like we see down here at the bottom, those are Ukrainian counteroffensives. Slanted blue lines like this, that's going to be partisan type stuff. Think Wolverines. That kind of activity is happening in these slanted blue areas. So we'll be deferring back to this when we have locations for footage. All of that footage that we've been looking at has been in this general area. The first Spetsnaz footage we watched was somewhere in and around Severodonetsk. Then we watched the paratrooper footage. That was somewhere in this area, if the reports are to be believed. All right, let's jump into the next set of footage here. If you are wondering, and this is very soon to be bad for the Russians. I mean, things are about to go very, very far south. I didn't copy and paste the appropriate link, so I'm going to have to find it really quick. But if you were wondering what that 40 billion was going to go towards, imagine the most up-to-date piece of maneuver machinery you can, with the most elite operator operating on it. And while you think about that, I'm going to give you a quick ad from our sponsor. Welcome back. Welcome back. Things are about to go very bad for the Russians. Let me tell you why. This is what the Ukrainians have spent, you know, all 40 billion. That supposedly was just some check we wrote to them for 40 billion. Here, go. You just watch it. Enjoy. Yes, that's a Maxim gun on the back of a moped. I'm sorry. You know, every once in a while, you got to look at something like that, and you just got to laugh. That's gangster. That's what that is. Hypermobility. All right, let's move on to the next piece of footage here. All right, let's talk about an aircraft. Let's talk about fratricide, reported fratricide. So back on May 6th, there was an aircraft that was shot down. It was a Ukrainian Su-27. I'll pull up a photo of the Su-27 for you guys here really quick. So the Su-27 is, you know, Ukraine has a host of these. And there was a report that came out recently of it being shot down, and the initial report said, no, it was a Russian aircraft that was shot down by Ukrainians. You can tell, or at least those that are translators could tell based on the accent, that it was Ukrainians that were filming. It has since been reported that it was a Ukrainian Su-27, and we've got the shoot down footage here coming up for you, and then we've got a photo, and we've got some additional footage of that shoot down that does you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Validate, at least to some degree, the possibility or the potential that it was a fratricide incident. My understanding is the pilot did pass or was killed in this strike. Have you guys heard the same? And it's coming up for you guys here now. So you got the plane up here.
О, ух ты, ой-ой-ой! Ебать, взорвали нахуй его! Олежка?
So what these Ukrainians don't know is that, at least reportedly, they had just shot down a Ukrainian jet. Let's pull up the other footage that we have for this now as well. Michael, thanks very much for the 50, man. How are you? Let me check in on some of the support as I'm pulling up the next bit of footage. And thank you guys so much for it, as always. Steve, welcome. Thanks for becoming a member. Thane, thank you for becoming a member. Grima, Mike, and Joseph, thank you for becoming members. If you don't want to give YouTube or Google 30% of your membership, you guys are always welcome to check out Patreon. I want to say the fees to Patreon are a fraction of what Google charges. It's like 30% or something to Google. Now, you still get the discount on your merch purchases all the way up to 30%, depending upon which tier of patron you choose. Let's get another set of footage here for this Su-27, which was identified as an Su-27 based on its tail number. Coming up for you guys now. So it starts with the tail end of that video, then gives you another perspective. I'm going to give you full screen on this one.
Ебать, сука! Пиши нахуй, пидорасы! Въебали сушку, сука! Ебать! Красавчики, блядь! Самолет збили. Єбіть! Диви, він ловушки не спів дать. Єбать! Диви, самолет падає. Воно взірвався, єбать! Єбать! Не катапультувався, пизда.
Да.
Just checking in on the chat here.
Хороший самолет противника. Это
We're gonna take a look at a photo that helps lend a little bit of credence. That's been making its way around Twitter. I know most of you are active on Twitter. That helps lend a little bit of validity to the claims that it was a Ukrainian jet. You can just barely make out the Ukrainian seal here on this photo, which is reportedly, once again, I am only receiving the same information from the same sources that you guys are. I am just doing my best to collate it. This is reportedly that same aircraft. So you can see kind of the makeout there. Okay, let's move on from that one. Just wanted to make sure everybody was tracking that. Russian ammo depot was struck in Luhansk near Kraken. Now this one's a little bit questionable for me as well. If you don't take into account the general accuracy that we've seen from Ukrainian artillery, what you're going to see in the photo is a relatively heavily populated area and artillery falling inside of it. Now, what we've talked about almost ad nauseum is Ukraine's ability from an accuracy perspective with artillery. Take a look. I'll give you full screen on this one. There is copywritten music, so we're going to leave this sound off. Something to note there are all of those secondary explosions. And this is reportedly an ammo depot that was struck in Luhansk. So again, still focused very much so on the east right now. These are all secondary explosions from that ammo depot cooking off. I'm sure they were devastated. I'm positive they were. Positive they were. Fratricide is a major problem in Ukraine right now. I mean we're looking at dudes wearing, colored armbands for goodness sake. I mean bright green colored armbands, bright red, white, right? It's a problem, especially when with the base level equipment for both of these armies technically comes from the same supply. So imagine some jet moving, almost Mach speed through the air, trying to track who that is. Without C2, I mean real clear, concise C2, that's got to be a nightmare. Next video that I want to look at here is Ukrainian perspective video. And this is reportedly Ukrainian SOF using dual, or two, I shouldn't say dual, it makes it sound like he's got them up like this, and he's two RPG-22s. RPG-22 is a disposable RPG. It's got a tube-shaped body. It looks a little bit different than what you might be used to when you hear the word RPG. Knocking out a Russian BMP-2. For some reason, my copy pasta doesn't want to work here. There we go. It's coming up for you guys full screen here in just a moment. Akimbo RPGs. This does have copyrighted music once again on it, so we're going to leave the music off. Full screen for you. Hey, Suzanne, welcome in. All right. Let's pull it back up here. So I saw a question out there in chat. Let me explain to you who we are and what we do. So we are Funker530. We are essentially a YouTube alternative. Funker530.com. If you head over there, you'll see our website. I can show you guys the website for those that aren't familiar with it. Keep in mind, guys, there are always going to be new folks that are joining the chat that might not know who we are or what we do. And it's pertinent and important for everybody to understand ultimately why we have this show designed the way it is. So here is our website. We host combat footage, and the reason that we do that is because platforms like your major social media sites typically don't like having violence, prominent, from a video platform perspective. What's important is that this stuff gets documented. From a historical record perspective, from showing the world what war really looks like, that's our mission. So the live show is very much so about showing the footage that we have found for you to go and look at on the website, less for me to give you my opinion on it. If you're interested in my opinion or breakdown and analysis on specific footage, check out the edited Funker News Network content. There's a playlist for it. You can run the command !FNN. You're going to watch the whole clip up front and then a breakdown and analysis shortly after that. But the live show is very much so just about reviewing the footage that we see, providing a little bit of context where we have it, introducing potentially new community members to Funker530, the app. We are on both Google and iOS. All right, let's move on to the next footage here, though. This is our non-Ukraine footage section. Kind of like I just mentioned, we look at conflict, so use of force scenarios. You think of a law enforcement use of force scenario with a suspect that might potentially get misconstrued in the mainstream media. We provide you that use of force video in its entirety on purpose. Some of it's nasty, but it's pertinent and important that the world sees this footage without a spin or a narrative. This next one's coming up for you, and this is our non-Ukraine section of the show. It'll only last for 2 videos. This is going to be... I can't tell you. You're just going to have to watch. It's an Iraqi insurgent firing at a group of American soldiers, and he doesn't know that there's air support overhead. You're going to have to just take away what you will from this. Entirely up to you. I can't say too much because it completely goes against what I'm supposed to show you here. Full screen.
You just fired rifle.
Moving on. Let's take a look at some footage from Syria. This is going to be a T-72 taking a direct hit. We just talked about the RPG-22. That's a disposable RPG, like I said. We're going to see it used in Syria as well. Yeah, we're moving on. We're moving on, guys. Okay? Coming up for you. The T-72 was reportedly disabled and then eventually abandoned. This was filmed by Aurora Sham, one of the alphabet soup worth of extremist groups that fall under the umbrella term Free Syrian Army in Syria. Coming up for you guys full screen. But don't forget, hit the like button. Or else. I don't know what else. I don't know what or else, but just please do that. Thank you. All right, coming up for you guys here full screen.
بدك طلعت بسرعة الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Now you can see if you look really closely here. You gotta look really close. You can see the crew actually climb out. Look in the dust here. There's one that just jumped out on the right side. Let's turn the sound off here. Right there. And there's one that also climbs out on the left side. See, YouTube? They survived. Thank you. Let's jump back into Ukraine footage. This next one is quite honestly wild. This is going to be filmed from a Ukrainian drone as it watches anti-air come from some Russian surface-to-air missile of some kind. And watching it come towards you is actually a little hair-raising. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to give you full screen again on this one. I don't think this is... yeah, full screen. Coming for you now. Pretty wild. Pretty wild, right? Don't worry, it's definitely a soda. I definitely just popped open a soda to pour it into my battle mug. Have you served? Yes, I served. I deployed to Afghanistan twice. The entire Funker 530 core team, we are a team of 6 veterans total. That accounts for 3 admin staff, including Funker, our founder, and 3 members of our writing and journalist team. Will, Josh, and Austie. Each Will and Josh are Purple Heart recipients. Austie, Army infantry veteran. Some badass dudes putting together this content that we review for you guys. Soda, yes. I see one of our moderators mentioning racist comments. We're going to slap you right in the and send you on your way. Okay? You're welcome. Your freedom of speech protects you from prosecution, not from being an asshole in the chat. Let's move on to the next piece of footage here. This one's really interesting, and we're gonna go inside of a Ukrainian-operated 122 millimeter 2S1 self-propelled artillery. I'm going to show you guys a picture of this first so you can see and get a perspective on what it is we're going to be looking at here. So this is the 2S1. And once again, I didn't do my job well. 2S1. I'm just going to search the site for that really quick. There it is. I didn't copy and paste the link for it like an idiot. Or White Claw's soda? Yep. Because I definitely just poured a soda into my mug. Coming up for you guys now.
Подводься, Сережка. Юра заряжай.
Пострел!
Подводься.
Now this was the 2S1 was initially prototyped in 1958 and it finally entered Soviet service in 1970. Ukraine reportedly has somewhere around 600 of these. Russia having about the same amount. Again, this is all just reported numbers. They could either be inflated or underreported. Just what's publicly available.
Пострел!
Я полосатый закінчив.
All right. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about Kraken. Ukraine's Kraken quote-unquote soft team. Now, what we've got here is a compilation of artillery strikes that reportedly originate from the Kraken team. Where I'm going to give you a couple key points about Kraken, at least what has been reported, you know, by places like the Washington Post. And then you do with that information in your research what you have. Of course, I'm not on the ground. I cannot validate, you know, really any of this. We collect this footage for you to review it, for you to see it in the state that it was published. Does that make sense? All right, let's jump in here. Full screen for you. We've got copywritten music. So Kraken is a volunteer unit that was formed by former Azov on literally the day that Putin announced his special military operation. You know, again, these are former Azov guys. They're also reported to have recruited like weightlifters and bouncers. The Washington Post did an article that accused them of being the unit that perpetrated the Russian POW abuse. There was a video that was circulating around of Russian POWs being shot in the leg. They correlated that with the fact that Kraken was in the area. Kraken's commander actually came out about a month ago and directly refuted that and said that they have been humane with their POWs. Obviously, without being there, it's next to impossible to validate any of that. What's weird about Kraken, though, is technically they answer to the defense ministry, but they also aren't technically a part of Ukraine's armed forces. Again, this is a volunteer unit that's used in soft type roles. I'm going to give you guys some music for this one. All right, so this just kind of ends out with more artillery strikes here. And we've got a couple more pieces of footage that I want to get to. And we also have Trending Tuesday. So Trending Tuesday is where we go over our website and apps top 5 most viewed pieces of footage that we have seen. But we're not quite there yet. I saved this one for the last 2 or so before we get to Trending Tuesday. This next one is probably the most wild piece of footage that you're going to see from us tonight. And most of you should be familiar with the TOS-1A. It's a thermobaric multiple launch system. Essentially, the way it works is the heat from the explosions cause the air around. I'm not an expert, so maybe Google it. The heat. My understanding is the heat from the explosions causes the air around to vaporize, which then gets pushed out in the blast. we're going to see a TOS-1A being used as a direct fire weapon. Normally it's used with a little bit of standoff, right? When I say standoff, I mean they're sending it, you know, across, you know, out of sight line at least. This is probably inside of 300 meters that this is being used. Pretty amazing footage, regardless of the politics, regardless of you know, this, that, 1 or 0, black or white. This is quite amazing to watch. Here you go. I'm going to give you full screen. Let's watch that at quarter speed. I want to watch it at quarter speed with the impacts here. We're gonna kill the music or the sound. Let's go back just a little bit further and catch that first explosion. Look at that. Now, here's something interesting. There's something that happens here. And what I think happens here is they clip a tree of some kind, because this explosion looks vastly different than what we're looking at, you know, out further in the distance. And you'll note that they're kind of walking it closer and closer. So as the rockets detonate, you can see them kind of moving closer and closer to the camera here. And I think they end up clipping a tree. The missile body ends up not detonating properly there. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that one? It doesn't look like a Willie Pete to me. It just looks like that fuel mixture didn't ignite appropriately, ends up spreading out and burning off. Because what's inside that causes that heat is a fuel mixture that's ignited, and that heat just vaporizes everything in the air around it. Okay, let's move on to the very last thing here. All right. I'm just going to give you this little gem from the Chechens, and that's going to take us right into Trending Tuesday tonight. Not going to say anything. Not going to say anything. You're good. Coming up. Just give me a second. Stand by. Be patient. Wait for it. It's worth it. He's worth it. Give it to him. He's worth it. I'm going to read word for word Josh's analysis of this in just a minute. Go get him, Tiger. Go get him. I think you got him. Let's go check out Josh's analysis for this. I love directing you guys to the analysis because these are the guys that are looking at this stuff day in and day out. And I'm gonna read this direct for you here. Josh says a hyper-elite operator from an unknown Chechen special operations team conducts a hypersensitive and classified marksmanship technique while operating in an undisclosed part of Ukraine. What you're looking at in this video is rare footage of a technique only previously seen in use by members of the elite clown army of Mali. You gotta go and check out the analysis, guys. Go read this. There you go. Oh, Josh, I love you so much. He's our soul marine, and I like to give him as much shit as possible. But he makes banger memes. Just absolute amazing memes. What we're doing now is we're going to jump into Trending Tuesday. So Trending Tuesday is where I deep dive, or well, not necessarily deep dive, but we go into all of our trending footage over the last 7 days, or at least the top 5. But first, let me show you how you can do that yourself, and you don't even have to watch this show. So if you end up on our homepage, which you should be checking in on daily, there are at least 10 videos that we post a day. Just click on Trending up at the top, and these are the videos that we'll be operating off of tonight. Number 5 is going to be this one right here. They haven't changed since I wrote it down. It is not safe for work at the end, so I'm going to give you a link to this so you can watch the ending of it. We reviewed this on Thursday. What you're looking at here is Ukrainian infantry engaging Russian infantry in the woods. It's coming up for you full screen in just a minute. The ending shows a dead dude. I try not to show too many dead things up close. YouTube doesn't really like that. And because of our content type, it's already a struggle to be a business. But this is coming up for you full screen right now. This is our number 5 video on the app and website.
Отходьте, хто ззаді.
This video, I never figured out why it was not safe for work. It's the very end of the video recon. Sounds like airsoft. It's the suppressor. Again, this is the number 5 most watched video on Funker530.com and on our app. Zoxide, how are you? All right, so right about here is when they end up right on top of some dead Russians, and well, I was paying attention to the chat. My bad. The next one is if that was not safe for work, this is not safe for just about everywhere. We're gonna watch a portion of it, but what ends up happening here is we've got these commercial drones, right? So you've got commercial drones like Mavics being used that really enable being behind forward lines without really having to sacrifice anybody within up to and including a couple miles. We've got some very not safe for work footage of a Russian soldier being in receipt of a mortar dropped from one of these types. There's something white in my hair. It's bothering the hell out of me. There we go. Of a mortar being dropped literally on top of a man. And we're not going to be able to watch all of it for obvious reasons, but I'll give you guys a link. This is the link if you want to go and watch it. You're welcome to come back here and let me know what your thoughts were. This is the reality of the conflict in Ukraine right now, of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Let me revise that statement. Coming up, I can't give you the whole thing. It's going to be very, very short clip of it, but I'll be pasting the link as we go. Wrong button. There we go. It's got copywritten music. This is the link to the video we're watching. This isn't the impact that we're looking for. This is. Stop. Oh, we missed it. Well, you're welcome to go take a look at that. It is brutal. It is not easy to watch. It doesn't matter who it is. It's not easy to watch, guys. But this is the reality. This is the reality of what's happening on the ground right now. We're going to watch these last three that we're going to watch after this are going to help you understand the reality. And, you know, there are those out there that don't fully understand the reality of war that are making policy decisions on that. Noble, welcome to the Funkers. How are you?
Outstanding.
Let's take another look at one. I actually have an edited Funker News Network episode that's going to be coming out. It's already filmed. I just got to finish editing it on this video. I had this video technically last Thursday. I didn't show it to you because I thought I was going to have the edited episode out, but then we started moving around, you know, the stream room, and I started building out the new studio, which you guys are looking at right there. It's not quite done yet. We'll be done with it very soon. And just haven't had a chance to finish editing this video. But what we're going to see here is a Ukrainian engaging around a wall. He ends up taking a round to his Cry plate carrier, which ends up with some spall, hits him in the arm. We're going to see him pop a tourniquet on and presumably get back into the fight and head to medical treatment. And it's coming up for you guys here, full screen. It's a weird resolution, so we'll have to deal with what we got here.
П'ятого поверху, блядь.
Ні, ви п'ятий поверх їбали. Там ось звідси, блядь. Там є хтось наший?
What plane dropped those? It was a drone. It was a drone. Here is the link to the video we're watching right now. And if you guys miss any of the links that I drop into the chat, check the stream description. It's all available for you in there. I'll fast forward just a little
По
bit.
будинку. Ні. А їй бух то йобнув, по будинку в'їбали, там, тому.
That's you see him take the round there. And you can actually see, if you look really closely, you could see the spall coming off of his plates. See it? Let's slow it down. Blink and you'll miss it. It was actually easier to see in the other view, in full speed, wasn't it? Let's hit normal. Oh, I know what happened there. Let's go back to quarter speed. There it is. Right there. What ends up happening is a piece of that, a piece or multiple of that ends up in his left forearm here, and that's what we're going to watch. We're going to watch him take immediate, or provide a little bit of... Take a little bit of immediate medical action on himself.
Тихо, спокійно, спокійно, все нормально. Все нормально. Все нормально.
Там і медик спокійно. Я іскру бачу, деякі.
At this point, we've got some copywritten music. I've got to turn that down a little bit. What he's doing is he's applying a tourniquet, and what the Funker News Network episode that I'm working on is going to focus on is why. Right? Because what we don't see is we don't see anything arterial. There's his plate carrier. It is a JPC. We don't see anything arterial or indicative of severe trauma. There's his arm. That left arm. But ultimately, the sneak peek to that is it's been drilled. Effectively, what you do by drilling immediate placement of a tourniquet is force the standard across your troops. There are probably more instances that has saved a life over the risk of, you know, blood circulation to the rest of the extremity. Probably just spook. No. So, in fact, we can look at another episode or another piece of footage here of reporters in contact, if I can find it. There's a video that we reviewed last week of a reporting team, a journalist team that was hit in an airstrike. And a Ukrainian soldier on the ground, immediately, there's once again, no severe trauma, no arterial blood loss, anything like that. The Ukrainian team that was with them immediately instructed them and place a tourniquet. Again, what you're doing is you're forcing the placement of that as a standard across the force. What that's going to do is, yes, there is a risk to the extremity, but if you enforce that muscle memory, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up saving more lives than not. You know, that is opposed, and this is just, you know, my train of thought on it. That is opposed to trying to assess a wound, you know, in the middle of a combat situation, you know, potentially costing time if you don't assess it appropriately. If you force that tourniquet being used, you're going to save more lives than not. All right, number 2. So this one is too not safe for work to show you. We showed it to you last Thursday because there's a section of it that I thought was okay, but it's totally not. I'm giving you the link. I'm going to keep pasting. I'm going to spam the chat with it. There you go. Go watch that. What ends up happening is one of those drone bombs, you know, a drone drops a mortar on a Russian truck. And initially, I thought it landed beside the truck in an empty area, but it literally lands on top of somebody. What happens after that is the truck then cooks off. There are munitions in the truck, and it kind of goes up in flames. That is our number 2 most watched video on the site. And this last one that we're going to watch here is our number 1 watched video. And this is not easy to watch, and I'll describe it as we go through it. But this is not safe for work. I'm still showing it to you anyway. You'll understand why once I do. Coming up for you full screen. This is thermal footage. It's gonna show a team of VDV. We're gonna deal with the copyright later. Ukrainian team members further back, but notice so at this point this Ukrainian has probably passed due to that hand grenade or multiple hand grenades that have fallen there so far, but their advance is now halted. Again, this is one man against a team level element of, you know, report this. These are VDV. That's that's supposedly not Russian standard line infantry, right? Yeah, they're airborne. Hostomel elites. He stood his ground, right? Just in airborne troops. You know, again, the VDV have quite a bit more training than your standard Russian infantrymen, especially quite a bit more training than a lot of the conscripts that you're seeing throughout Ukraine right now. Seems safe for work for you. We consider things not safe for work that show death, right? And when I say not safe for work, I mean not safe for what YouTube wants us to show you. That's why we have our own platform, though. That's why Funker 530 exists. Because people need to see death happen. People die. We are all very easy to kill. You're a bag of meat and liquid. That's just fundamentally it. Right? People die, especially in war. And the wrong people die. The civilians die. That's why nobody wins in war. But that's the mission of Funker 530 is to show that, so that people understand that and see it. But YouTube doesn't like that. Not too long ago, from the Syrian civil war, this is an arbitrary percentage, they just deleted like 80% of Syrian civil war footage off of our channel. If there were ever a reason for documenting these things, for keeping a historical record of combat footage, it's now. Had to show the truck video to my dad. Yeah, I didn't catch that initially. The mortar falling on top of the guy. I just didn't. And what's kind of ironic is I was showing that as I was having a similar conversation that we're having now about YouTube not wanting us to show certain content. Hey, from Las Vegas. That reminds me. I didn't ask you guys to let me know where you're chiming in from. Where's everybody chiming in from tonight? I'm in America. That's about all you're getting. Dirt. Yeah, that's me, man. UK, Connecticut, Toronto, Cleveland, Las Vegas, Canada. Oh, man. 29 Palms. There we go. I got to slow this down a little bit. Norway. Stafford, James, Michigan, Australia. Is everything actually trying to kill you in Australia, or is that just something to keep dumb American tourists away like me? Because I don't do spiders, man. No, I'll burn it down before I do that. Columbus, France. Who wants to take a look at the Funker Studio? I don't have a way that I can talk to you guys from over there technically just yet, but I can chat about it here. I want to sneak peek this for you guys and walk you through kind of what you're going to be looking at on both the live and edited content coming up here very soon. Check it out. So here's our Funker Studio. Don't pay too much attention to the lighting. That back left wall there, that's going to be brick veneer. I'm still working on it. You can see my screwdriver set and whatnot. I'll have a couple portable monitors there. But this is really designed to separate the Funker 530 content from this station, which is where I do my other stuff, right? I play games and use gaming to put good back into the world via my partnership with Veteran Charity. We've done over $36,000 to Veteran Charity. You can see our goal down there at the bottom. It's a weekly goal. But I want separate stations for that stuff, right? So that's the whole purpose behind having a dedicated studio. All of our edited Funker News Network content is going to be done from there, as well as the live show. The live show is going to be really challenging, and I hope you guys will be patient with me. I'm going to be operating off of some very small screens. You can see the screens that I use right now to manage the live show. I've got lots of room here to pull stuff up, slide stuff around. Well, I'm not going to have that. Right, and I want to be talking about this ahead of time. That way, those first couple streams or so, You guys don't hold it against me too bad, unless it depends on what you're trying to hold against me. That's for damn sure. All right. Michael, thanks for becoming a member. Tactical Jackal, thanks for becoming a member. Calico Jack, thanks for the 13. Jeff Duncan, thank you for the $6. Michael, thank you for the 50 again. I appreciate that. We all do. Once again, we're a small team. Our core team is only 6 veterans deep. All of us have served overseas in various capacities. And we are an international team, technically speaking. Our founder is a Canadian infantry veteran, Funker. He founded the channel back in well over a decade ago, really just hoping to show here on YouTube his family, his experience in Afghanistan. And fast forward by a little bit over a decade, here we are today, our own website, an amazing community that cares about the mission, that wants to help us cut down the middle of the narrative. And we can't thank you enough for being here. That's going to be it for me, though. I'm out of here tonight. Tuesday night's my night off to go sit on the couch, drink beer, and hang out with the missus. But I'll be live again tomorrow over on my channel. I'll drop a link in the chat over there once we're done here. But I hope to see you there because, again, everybody has a hobby. You might like watching TV, watching Teletubbies, whatever it is you're interested in. But in the evenings when I'm not streaming here, I'm playing some games. It's Escape from Tarkov, Hell Let Loose, Squad, Arma. Pretty much any milsim type game, I'm way into it. And we use that to drive veteran charity. So I'd love to catch you guys over there and help give back to our veterans that need it. But if I don't see you there, I'll see you back here Thursday. And that'll be the last stream this week. And technically the last stream until next month because I'm going on vacation. I'm going away. Just taking a break a little bit. I'm happy to talk more about that on the other channel. Swing by and see me. We'll see you guys at the latest Thursday, but hopefully tomorrow. Stay informed. Shit, wrong button.